Influenza A is a dangerous strand of what's commonly known as the flu traveling through the mass public of our United States today that needs to be better understood. Some of the things that need to be better understood are things such as the symptoms that may occur, who it may affect, prevention measures, and the treatment of this disease. Some of the symptoms that may occur are but are not limited to having a runny nose, having a fever, maybe a cough, or even a sore throat. It is important that if you do have these symptoms, you do not worry about them too much because with just one of these symptoms, you cannot come to the conclusion that you've contracted influenza A. It's best to watch these symptoms to make sure they do not worsen or continue for long periods of time. If this does happen, it is recommended to see a doctor at the earliest convenience. Some of the people who are more at risk than others to contract this disease are children. Children are higher at risk because they do not wash their hands after things such as using the bathroom. This is a big spreader of this disease because washing your hands is necessary to stay sanitary with keeping this disease at a minimum. Another thing that they do not wash their hands after is coughing or sneezing. If they do not wash their hands after this, they could contract this disease, or even if they already have it, they can spread it farther for anybody else to get. Another thing that they don't do properly is coughing or sneezing. It is proper to cough or sneeze into your arm instead of into your hand or not covering up at all. Because if you do not cover up at all, you're just going to spread all the disease into the air as it could be prevented by covering up. If you do not cover up with your arm and you use your hand instead, this could also spread the disease because even though you're not coughing into the air for everybody else, you're coughing into your hand, and after you cough into your hand, if you don't wash your hand, then you're then going to spread the disease with your hands. You're going to do this because you're going to go touch everything else and then somebody else might touch it, and that's just a bad way to spread the disease. That could be prevented pretty easily. Another group of people that could be affected by this disease is people living in poverty. People living in poverty do not have the proper sanitary precautions like other people may have. They're also not educated very well in this topic because they have other things to worry about, like maybe getting their next meal on the table. But these people, it's best to maybe educate them in any way that you can because they don't know and they're one of the bigger spreaders of this disease as well. Some of the preventative measures of avoiding getting this disease is, big one, washing your hands. Like I've said already, washing your hands is going to keep this disease to a minimum and may even prevent you from getting it yourself. Another thing is maybe hand sanitizer. If you cannot wash your hands all the time, there are always little bottles of hand sanitizers that you can have, or even a lot of places have hand sanitizer out for people to use. This is not as effective as washing your hands properly, but it will also help on keeping it down. Another thing that you can do is get a yearly flu shot. It's important to get one every year because the strand changes every year. When you do not get one, the strand that happened last year is a different strand of influenza A this year. So the shot that you had last year isn't going to help you very much with this disease. There are not very many treatments that you can do after already being infected by this virus, but one of the things that you can do is an antiviral treatment. This treatment is only effective within 48 hours of shown symptoms of the flu. Another thing you can do to yourself if you've contracted the flu is maybe drink more vitamin C or hot tea. There are all kinds of other home remedies that you can look up and this may help or may not. Um, these are all the ways that these are some of the ways that people are affected by influenza A, how they may be treated, and how to prevent this illness from spreading or getting worse.